Narrated Sa'd. Allah's Messenger distributed zakat amongst a group of people while I was sitting there, but Allah's Messenger left a man whom I thought the best of the lot. I asked, O Allah's Messenger, why have you left that person? By Allah, I regard him as a faithful believer. The Prophet commented, or merely a Muslim. I remained quiet for a while, but could not help repeating my question because of what I knew about him, and then asked Allah's Messenger, why have you left so and so? By Allah, he is a faithful believer. The Prophet again said, or merely a Muslim, and I could not help repeating my question because of what I knew about him. Then the Prophet said, O Sa'd, I give to a person while another is dearer to me for fear that he might be thrown on his face in the fire by Allah. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. A person asked Allah's Messenger, what sort of deeds and or what qualities of Islam are good? He replied, to feed the poor and greet those whom you know and those whom you don't know. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, I was shown the hellfire, and that the majority of its dwellers were women who were ungrateful. It was asked, do they disbelieve in Allah, or are they ungrateful to Allah? He replied, they are ungrateful to their husbands, and are ungrateful for the favors and the good charitable deeds done to them. If you have always been good benevolent to one of them, and then she sees something in you not of her liking, she will say, I have never received any good from you. Narrated Amrur. At Arabada, the first met Abu Darhu was wearing a cloak, and his slave, too, was wearing a similar one. I asked about the reason for it. He replied, I abused a person by calling his mother with bad names. The Prophet said to me, O Abu Dar, did you abuse him by calling his mother with bad names? You still have some characteristics of ignorance. Your slaves are your brothers, and Allah has put them under your command. So whoever has a brother under his command should feed him of what he eats and dress him of what he wears. Do not ask them slaves to do things beyond their capacity power, and if you do so, then help them. Narrated Al-Anaf bin Qais. While I was going to help this man, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Bakr met me and asked, where are you going? I replied, I am going to help that person. He said, go back, for I have heard Allah's Messenger saying, when two Muslims meet each other with their swords, both the murderer as well as the murdered will go to the hellfire. I said, O Allah's Messenger, it is all right for the murderer, but what about the murdered one? Allah's Messenger replied, he surely had the intention to kill his companion. Narrated Abdullah. When the following verse was revealed, it is those who believe and confuse not their belief with wrong, worshipping others besides Allah. 6-83. The companions of Allah's Messenger asked, who is amongst us who had not done injustice wrong? Allah revealed, no doubt, joining others in worship with Allah is a great injustice wrong indeed. 31.13. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, the signs of a hypocrite are 3. 1. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. 2. Whenever he promises, he always breaks it, his promise. Closing parenthesis. 3. If you trust him, he proves to be dishonest. If you keep something as a trust with him, he will not return it. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. The Prophet said, whoever has the following for characteristics will be a pure hypocrite, and whoever has one of the following 4 Characteristics will have one characteristic of hypocrisy unless and until he gives it up. 1. Whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. 2. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. 3. Whenever he makes a covenant, he proves treacherous. 4. Whenever he quarrels, he behaves in a very imprudent, evil, and insulting manner. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Whoever establishes the prayers on the night of Qadr out of sincere faith and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, not to show off, then all his past sins will be forgiven." Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "The person who participates in holy battles in Allah's cause and nothing compels him to do so, except belief in Allah and His apostles, will be recompensed by Allah either with a reward or booty if he survives, or will be admitted to paradise if he is killed in the battle as a martyr. Had I not found it difficult for my followers, then I would not remain behind any Syria going for jihad, and I would have loved to be martyred in Allah's cause and then made alive, and then martyred and then made alive, and then again martyred in His cause." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Whoever establishes prayers during the nights of Ramadan faithfully out of sincere faith and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, not for showing off, all his past sins will be forgiven." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Whoever observes fasts during the month of Ramadan out of sincere faith and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, then all his past sins will be forgiven." Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "Religion is very easy, and whoever overburdens himself in his religion will not be able to continue in that way. So you should not be extremists, but try to be near to perfection and receive the good tidings that you will be rewarded, and gain strength by worshiping in the mornings, the afternoons, and during the last hours of the nights." See Fathul al-Bari, page 102, volume 1. Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib. When the Prophet came to Medina, he stayed first with his grandfathers or maternal uncles from Ansar. He offered his prayers facing Baitul Maqdis, Jerusalem, for 16 or 17 months, but he wished that he could pray facing the Kaaba at Mecca. The first prayer which he offered facing the Kaaba was the Asr prayer in the company of some people. Then one of those who had offered that prayer with him came out and passed by some people in a mosque who were bowing during their prayers facing Jerusalem. He said, addressing them, "By Allah, I testify that I have prayed with Allah's Messenger facing Mecca Kaaba." Hearing that, those people changed their direction towards the Kaaba immediately. Jews and the people of the Scriptures used to be pleased to see the Prophet facing Jerusalem in prayers, that when he changed his direction towards the Kaaba during the prayers, they disapproved of it. Al-Bara added, "Before we change our direction towards the Kaaba Mecca in prayers, some Muslims had died or had been killed, and we did not know what to say about them regarding their prayers. Allah then revealed, and Allah would never make your faith prayers to be lost, i.e. the prayers of those Muslims were valid to 143.